Hi, welcome to another Power Blast podcast. So, have you ever been afraid of failing at something that you just didn't even try at all? I mean, fear of failure probably halts more health and fitness plans than any other obstacle. It can literally talk you right out of even trying. And learning to process, cope, and accept failure. And it's one more stepping stone to reaching your health and fitness goals. So it's time to use failure as a stepping stone instead of a tombstone. Stay tuned. Hey there, my friend. Perry Tinsley here, creator of the Power Blast podcast, The Power of Possibility, Passion, and Purpose. And in this episode, you're going to learn how to stay committed even when there's potential for failure as you are on your pursuit to your health and fitness goals. Before I get into it all, I want to say thank you so much for tuning in. Whether this is your first time listening to the Power Blast podcast, or you are a regular listener or catching the video version, that's really, really cool. Thanks so much for being here. If you're listening on your podcast app, please drop in, leave an honest rating and review to help others discover this show. If you are over on YouTube catching the video version, please be an awesome friend. Smash the subscribe button and those notification bells. I think there's just one bell, right? That way you won't miss the show. And it'd be crazy cool if you hit the thumbs up button, left a comment, because I do respond to those. That helps the YouTube algorithm as well, helps it show to more people. And you know what? It's an engaging environment and community. So you absolutely rock, my friend. So let's talk about this thing called fear. We all have it, right? The fear of failing. I mean, it can seriously be paralyzing and cause us to do nothing. Even resist attempting to move forward. It's like it just sometimes just feels better to do nothing and feel safe than to venture into the unknown and be afraid of things. And the fear doesn't even have to be super huge. But when we allow fear to keep us from moving forward, we end up missing out on lessons and opportunities along the way. And I know a lot of those things aren't necessarily guaranteed, and we can't always see what's going to happen in the future, and predict that stuff. But, trusting the process can really be a benefit. The brain, it's there to protect us. What it believes is a threat. It's there to halt us. It's like, be careful. So literally, you got to push yourself out of your comfort zone. I know you're uncertain if things are going to work out this time. And if, especially with a health and fitness program of some sort or plan, you'll probably question, am I even going to stick with it this time? Because in the back of your mind, you probably have proof where things haven't worked before. And sometimes it just doesn't seem worth the effort because fear and doubt have taken control. They jumped in and it's like, hey, we've got you. We're going to keep you safe. But that doesn't help you reach your goals, right? If we allow those self-defeating thoughts to just keep going, then literally our actions, or in most cases, inaction, follows. So what can we do, against such a powerful force, or at least a force that we've given so much power to, right? Now, first thing is to acknowledge it. Ask yourself, what makes me so afraid of this failure? I think many of us, we don't even take time to just deal with it and address it. We ignore it, sweep it under the carpet, and move on. Okay, I'm protected, I'm safe, moving on to the next thing. But whatever answers you come up with, ask yourself, are these true, or are they a made up story? Can I actually take control? Now, just know that you do have choices. When I'm thinking back to where I was beginning my journey, the excuses would pop up to create safety of why I couldn't do certain things, or why I couldn't, why it was going to be an inconvenience for me to start exercising, and the soreness stuff. And I could create literally a pros and cons list where all the things against exercise, I could create that list to make it huge, even insignificant little things due to this. But We all have proof that we've overcome hard things. You have proof that you've overcome hard things. Just think about what setbacks or obstacles have you had in your life. Some may have been just super challenging. Some may have been really unpleasant, but you got through it somehow because of your persistence, because of you were determined to do it, because you needed to find a way. Those past experiences are super helpful to you. Sometimes it's easier to get in our own way than really face the possibility of possibly failing and going, gosh, and especially it really doesn't help if we've had experiences in the past where we've had some failure and we have other friends or family members that try to be helpful and point out that we failed so many times in the past. So why put yourself through that again? Why do that? Just take it easy. Be like one of us, and we don't do these things and try to pull you back in, Just sometimes it feels easier to get in your own way. But if you've ever found yourself failing before you've truly even tried, then the tips are these are gonna help you out. I mean, I don't know. I mean, so let me get back to that. Let's think about that. If you've ever found yourself failing, giving up. I think I've got a shirt here that says never give up. But failing and giving up before you even tried, where you procrastinated workouts, you've sabotaged your nutrition, you've used negative self-talk that leads to low self-esteem or, poor self-confidence, trying to do everything perfect, that all or nothing mindset. If those have been some of the things that you've done, catch yourself next time that you start doing those behaviors. A lot of times they become so habitual that you don't even realize you're doing it. But if you're really serious, you're like, this time I'm really serious, and now I know to look fear in the face and look for these little things that I typically do and catch it and nip it in the bud right away. You start to begin with, what if I didn't put it off anymore? What if I didn't self-sabotage? What if I didn't choose failure as proof that I couldn't cut it? What if I embrace failure as something to learn from and grow from and get better at, and I can course correct along the way? Literally, failure only stops us if we let it. You are in control of how you decide to let fear stop you or grow you. So here's a few tips for you. The first one was to acknowledge it. The second one is to break your goals into smaller, doable actions. I know we start on our health and fitness journey and we want the fastest possible results so that we can be over and done with. That's for a lot of times we have this diet mentality where it's just like, I just can't wait till this diet's over with and I get the results so I can go back to my old ways, right? But when you break it into smaller, doable actions, imperfect action is way better than perfect inaction. It's more important to make sure that your goals are super reasonable, and that you can actually succeed at them along the way. Consider your ability level. Consider the goals. Consider your schedule, because a lot of times we come up with those excuses, right? I had to look at it this way. It is humbling at the beginning when you're feeling so out of shape that you've let yourself go, and if you're in that spot and just feeling frustrated with yourself. So you got to say, you know what? Baby steps, because if I keep doing baby steps, they'll turn into bigger steps, and bigger steps will be into bigger strides, and then I'll be racing and going, but I'm constantly moving forward. If I'm not doing any steps at all, I'm not going anywhere. And a lot of times if I'm not doing anything, I'm actually going backwards. So the goals you should have, they should be slightly challenging, but not overwhelming to you. Give yourself quick wins. That will boost and just interject into your self-confidence, just a big boost. And when you start your journey, fitness, for example, you will be humbled. Just trust the process, knowing that each week you're going to become just a bit stronger, just a little bit better than the week before. And for many people, when we plant that seed of getting healthy and fit, we don't give that seed enough time to grow and germinate to where it can feed us for a whole year. We let it grow for a little bit, and then all of a sudden we're like, oh my gosh, I got to question things. I'm looking at another fitness plan seed, and I'm going to look at this fitness plan seed because the one I picked is probably wrong because it didn't come fast enough. All you got to do is give it time. Keep taking baby steps, keep moving steps forward, keep focused. Set yourself up with small wins. Use a tracker to check in once a day. Use my friend Judy. She makes it super simple. She has this really cool sneaker that's broken up into a little 100 chunks, and she just colors in a little spot every time she showed up. For me, all I did was I had a calendar, a very simple calendar. I put an X on the calendar on the day I showed up today, and I would find and look at all the X's that would get lined up in a row because I'm showing up for myself. Small victories. Think 2 pounds at a time as opposed to I got to lose 150 pounds. Just the next 2 pounds or just the next 2 push-ups. When I started, I could barely do any push-ups. I was like, I just want to do one more than the week before. And this is big. Progress over perfection. Pace yourself and focus on making healthy changes over time as opposed to all at once, that all or nothing thinking. It's like, and that was me. I got the exercise dialed in, and I started focusing on the nutrition. I got some nutrition stuff, and I learned that some of the things I was doing for nutrition wasn't as nutritious as I thought. So I made those tweaks. And I was a vegetable hater, so eventually I'm like, maybe vegetables matter. And this is probably about 1.5 years into my journey. So I started to dabble in the veggie world. And boom, I lost another 5-10 pounds. I'm like, wow. And vegetables make me feel good, and I can tolerate them. I hated them as a kid. But you finally, you begin to celebrate each small milestone you reach, and great ways to, speaking of celebration, for instance, you exercised and showed up 2 weeks in a row. Maybe that means movie night to you. Maybe that means taking a scenic drive in the country. It doesn't have to be food related. I know a lot of times we're all going to celebrate on food, and it's like I'm treating myself, and I did that too. But I didn't want to treat myself so much that I got off track and felt guilty about it. This could even be something like I'm buying a new app on my phone, or I'm downloading some new music for my workout playlist, or I'm buying some new exercise equipment, or my friend Carol, she went out and she's like, I'm earning this shirt, and she bought it a size too small so she could earn her way into that shirt that she just adored. She hung it up on her wall. That's going to help you build a list of successes. Most of us, at one point or another, we're afraid of failing. You just can't let that keep you from moving forward, because if it halts you, it doesn't mean you're staying in one spot. You're actually moving backwards toward your goals. You're either moving forward toward your goals or away from your goals. And just know you always have a choice. Choose to be afraid, or we can choose to grow and learn and progress and discover what's possible. Set small goals to help build your confidence. Then challenge yourself with new goals as you reach them. Keep thinking, what's next? What am I going to do next? What am I going to do next? Keeping them realistic, of course. And if you're feeling halted, begin to explore possible options and outcomes with rational eyes, and keep moving forward. Slow and steady will win the race. Your wins will add up, and more you're going to overcome that fear of failing. I'd love to hear your top takeaway from today's podcast. Drop me a line on social or email me, perry@putyourselffirst.com. Reach out to me with any question that you might have about food, fitness, even more ideas to achieve your health goals. I absolutely love, and I'm totally thrilled with helping people overcome their obstacles and barriers that often get in the way of their health and fitness goals. And I'm willing to help you. And if you'd like more motivation, support, and tips, then join my free Upside Down Fitness community. We're a fun group of people striving to make healthier habits in this awesome chapter of life. And I do 52 weeks of free coaching in there. I promise you'll love it. Head over to upsidedownfit.com. That's all I have for this week. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you so much. Please share, subscribe, leave an honest rating and review in your podcast app to help others discover this show and to help others out with the tips that we share, or I share. And for those of you on YouTube catching the video version, please be sure to hit the subscribe and notifications buttons so you get that alert each time a new show drops. You absolutely rock, my friend. That's all I have for this week. And as always, remember, it's never too late. We'll see you next week.